First up, a middle school teacher in Reno, Nevada named Jennifer Leja recently spoke to BuzzFeed about being censored in her classroom. So Jennifer, who is bisexual, claims that the school district she works for actually told her she was not allowed to display a rainbow pride flag in her classroom due to a policy which bans any signage that they feel is of political nature. So Jennifer obviously questioned how a pride flag could be seen as political, considering that the LGBTQ plus community exists freely in our country, and that it could even empower closeted students to, feel more comfortable and come out themselves. So actually, the same district recently came under fire for prohibiting its teachers and staff from supporting Black Lives Matter as well. They claimed that also was political, and it actually was a rule that ended up being petitioned by students. So ladies, what do you think of the rules the district implemented, and what do you think about what is political and what is not political, and what should be allowed and not allowed in school?
I was personally offended by this because, first of all, it's not a political statement to say we should always love and accept one another, especially when it's your classroom. Today's a new day. Kids are now becoming more open about their sexual orientation, and when I say that, I don't mean in the physical sense. We need to be more educated about just the love and acceptance of who we are so that we never have to shy away from that. And when teachers like this are open about it, it actually decreases bullying and calling people out. I know myself, I grew up in San Francisco where I had a lot of mentors that were gay and very openly embracing of it, so it never was a thing to me. I didn't see people just for their orientation. So I really applaud this teacher, and I'm glad she spoke to BuzzFeed about it because we should all feel comfortable talking about this.
I agree with you, Jeannie. I think, you know what, love is love, right? And we want to spread that. And like you said, I do think it can help bullying too. But if there's a kid in that class who maybe is gay or feeling that, but he can't say to his friends, I think if she can put a positive spin on it, that might help the other kids digest it if this girl or boy decides to come out and say how they truly feel. But when it comes to political, since I have kids in school, I do feel that politically, if you have to show both sides. You can't just talk about the Republicans or the Democrats. I think if you're a teacher and you're going to talk politics, you have to present both sides, because otherwise you're trying to sway kids one way or another. But when it comes to the pride flag, I think love is love. You know, my kids have a lot of friends that have two dads or two moms, and I think acceptance starts at home, in class, anywhere you're at.
I don't think that the school is saying that they're not accepting because they're not allowing her to put her flag. I think that's, for me, I think the classroom itself should be neutral to everything. I mean, because then you're going to have teachers that want to present maybe a MAGA flag or, like you said, a Black Lives Matter flag. I think the school was just trying to be fair. You still have after-school clubs where you can talk about things like that. You have certain forums that you can talk about it. It can be talked about in the syllabus. But when we're talking about having a desk and it represents you, that's fine. But I have friends that are in classrooms and they said that they keep their desk neutral and just concentrate on the learning and the work.
Yes, but is it a problem if the teacher just shares what they're passionate about? I remember every one of my classrooms had a specific decor and specific emblems and things that that teacher liked. I remember I had Mr. Hunter in 5th grade who loved Michael Bolton and was all about America and the military, and we even visited naval bases to support that. And because of that, I have an esteem, respect for the military because of that teacher, because I didn't really care about it before. I didn't think about soldiers.
But then my question is, okay, so then, but then, like I said, if we allow,
what if students should learn
wanted a KKK? What if they wanted a KKK? What if they wanted a MAGA?
Well,
MAGA is not.
That's different because it doesn't promote love.
That's different.
If it promotes love and acceptance, I think it's okay. If you're promoting hate against certain groups of people, that should not be allowed in the classroom.
That could be argued.
But some people might see the pride as hate, right?
That's what I'm saying. Everybody has their interpretation of how they see something. And we're talking about in the class, because I don't want people coming for me saying I don't support. Everybody know I support LGBTQ all day long. What I'm saying is, I'm more concerned that they allow clubs that they allow like people to have the club so that kids can, understand it and be a part of that and be accepting and, and also teach about it. Not just show, some symbols to me that, okay, whatever, but actually put it in the syllabus. Talk about different sexualities and lifestyles. That's what I'm more concerned with, you know what I mean? But if the thing is that you may look at it as love and lifestyle. Some people look at MAGA as love and lifestyle. Do you want your kids, do you want them to have that?
But I wouldn't be against it. Let's say I had a teacher who was a strong Republican and had the MAGA flag up. I wouldn't. I would need to just understand, what does "Make America Great Again" mean to you, and what does it include, and are you discluding anything? Because at that point, you as a student have to understand whether or not you oblige with your teacher or you agree with your teacher or not. But your teacher should express what they're passionate about, because that exposes kids to different people, their lifestyles, their passions.
But I don't think teach in math, Jeannie. They teach in math.
But a teacher also
let's ask Garcelle.
A teacher has a lot more impressions than just a syllable. Your teacher, Garcelle, your boys' teachers, what are their personalities? And when you walk into the classroom, do you have any teachers that happen to be a little bit more expressive in their personal life or their personal interests besides just A, B, C, D, E, F, and the colors?
Absolutely. I think a teacher's desk represents who they are. Like I think a teacher's desk, I had a teacher who was all into Betty Boop. She had a Betty Boop mug. She had like a little, bobbing head. So I get that, but I also get what Lonnie is saying, because some people might see the pride flag as a negative thing because what are you being taught at home? But my thing is acceptance. It's not whether, even if it was a MAGA flag, I'd have a real problem with that. But I think it's accepting everybody's individuality. At the bottom line, I think that's what we're trying to say. But I don't want you to try to sway my kids one way or another.
Yeah, we ultimately should be teaching our kids how to be inclusive and loving of all people. But that's why, for me personally, I don't agree, or I personally wouldn't have my children involved in traditional schooling, because, I actually believe that teachers naturally are just going to be biased to, like you said, whatever their belief system is and however they were raised and what they believe to be true. And I wouldn't want that to be influenced on my child personally. Like when I was growing up in school, I learned that Christopher Columbus was the greatest person because that's what my textbook told me and that's what my teacher told me. Obviously, we know that now to be completely incorrect. And that's why I just don't believe in traditional schooling. That's just me.
I hear you.
So you would want your kids to be in a school where the teacher does not share anything personal, Adrienne?
I would want to homeschool. I love the idea of homeschooling or having.
Girl, listen, you'll do it for a week, then you'll be like, get these kids out of here.
No, I wouldn't do it. I probably wouldn't do the homeschooling. Okay. My sister does it with my nieces, so I'd have her do it. But they also have this amazing situation now where you get multiple. Girl, you ain't gonna be raising a rainbow flag. You're gonna raise a white flag. Get me. I surrender. But I love the idea of raising children together. You actually get multiple families together who choose to school their children together under a curriculum that they all agree upon. Like I would want my children to learn about African history that doesn't start with colonialism or starting at slavery. Like there's just certain things that I would want my children to learn that isn't in our current school systems. I don't want them celebrating Christopher Columbus Day, but that's just me. So I think it's very difficult to decide this because we naturally as human beings, even me being on this show, I'm sharing my personal opinion. Yeah. If your child is spending 8 hours a day with this teacher, naturally this person's values and their bias absolutely will be influential on your children's life.
Well, that's why you can't let the teachers do it alone.
You're right, Garcelle. That's why they set policies and they try to set syllabus so that it's fair, it's neutral. But when we're talking about something, we're not saying take away her personality, take away who she is. I mean, we're not saying that. We're just saying that the focus doesn't always have to be on our individual tastes when we're teaching the children. So
yes, I know. I had a teacher though.
We can go back and forth.
I had a teacher, Mrs. Walker, who had a black fist that was a big picture on her wall. And she also had a quote from Harriet Tubman. So I'm just saying, like, I learned a lot about these amazing passions. That
you had amazing teachers, it sounds like.
I did, but again,
I didn't have the same experience. I really did.
I understand. Sometimes you don't want to impose your personal feelings, especially if it could read negative. I hear what you're saying there. Well, here's another thing I want to ask you guys, because this is somewhat debatable to people out there. Obviously, I think we all agree that diversity in the workplace is massively important, but it seems that women are stepping up and raising their voices, demanding change in police departments, because women want more positions in police departments. So I want to ask you guys, how different do you think our nation would be if police departments were run by women?
I never thought about this, but this gets a little weird only because I obviously am super women's empowerment every day, all day. But I don't like the idea that men get to say that they're not nurturing or that they can't make proper decisions because they're men, or that they're egotistical, or that they're so macho that they pull out their guns. Like, there's so many stereotypes here, and I don't like the idea of men leaning on that. Just be a good, decent human being. Do the right thing, like male or female. I just want good people that make good decisions based on the right reasons in our police force. I don't care if you're a girl, if you're a boy, if you're a they. I literally don't care. Good people who make good decisions.
I also think women are we're organized. We're more organized. We can multitask. I think it might change things a little bit if we can get more women in power, more women as police chiefs. I think maybe the communities will be best served better because there'll be different programs implemented.
Yes, exactly why Ruth Bader Ginsburg said women should be allowed where decisions are made.